Welcome to today's Quickcast, update on federal funding for housing programs serving older adults. My name is Linda Couch, and I'm the Vice President of Housing Policy at LeadingAge. In this Quickcast, we'll review HUD funding levels in the House and Senate appropriations bills, provide an outlook for enactment of a final HUD funding bill, and review the latest research on affordable housing needs of older adults. As part of the Save HUD 202 campaign, every housing action alert, every housing update, everything we do and encourage our housing member advocates to do is part of our campaign to preserve and expand HUD's Section 202 housing program for older adults. As you may recall, President Trump requested Congress cut funding for HUD for the next fiscal year 2018, by 15%. These more than $7 billion in cuts would have reduced 202 funding by 13% alone. President Trump's budget request also seeks to provide insufficient funds for project-based rental assistance contracts and vouchers while freezing rent increases to owners and raising residents' rents in all the programs. Thanks to your advocacy, the House's FY18 HUD bill provides significantly increased and sufficient resources for project rental assistance contracts and service coordinator contracts within the Section 202 account, from $502 million in FY17 to $576 million for FY18. The House bill, however, does not provide enough funding to fully renew all Section 8 project-based rental assistance contracts or housing choice vouchers. These cuts are significant. 2/3 of all 202s receive their operating subsidy from the Section 8 project-based rental assistance program, and 23% of the nation's vouchers are senior households. The House bill would also cut public housing by almost 5%, deepening the historic underfunding of these 1.1 million homes nationwide, of which more than 360,000 are headed by older adults. The House bill rejected the administration's request to freeze owner rents and increase rents for residents, but encouraged the authorizing committees to review these proposals. For the first time, the House HUD appropriations bill includes authority to expand HUD's successful rental assistance demonstration program to include Section 202s with project rental assistance contracts. Communities that choose to participate in RAD can convert their rental subsidy platform to the Section 8 program, thereby giving these communities access to private financing currently off limits to them. We must highlight that direct LeadingAge member education and advocacy of a HUD Appropriations Subcommittee member, Representative Mike Quigley from Illinois, led Mr. Quigley to champion RAD for PRAC's inclusion in the House's HUD bill. Member advocacy works. The House's bill passed on September 14th, but is seen as dead on arrival in the Senate because it breaks the government's spending caps for defense while underfunding non-defense discretionary programs. In the Senate's HUD bill, the same significantly increased and sufficient funding is provided for the Section 202 account, which is mostly comprised of PRAC and Service Coordinator renewal funding. Differing from its House counterpart, the Senate FY18 HUD bill appears to provide sufficient funding for all Section 8 project-based rental assistance renewals. We also think the bill may provide sufficient funds to renew all vouchers, but we are awaiting further analysis on this. The Senate bill does provide a 5% increase for public housing. This is not all that public housing needs, but at least it is not a cut like the House bill would provide. The Senate HUD bill also rejects all of the administration's cost savings reforms to freeze rents for owners and raise rents for residents, including all senior residents. The Senate bill also includes the RAD for PRAC expansion. With RAD for PRAC expansion now in the House and Senate bills, we are very hopeful that the final HUD FY18 bill will include this new preservation tool. We are also thrilled that the Senate bill includes $4 million to make the RAD conversions possible for PRAC communities that could not do so at current subsidy levels. Enacting RAD for PRAC authority is a key LeadingAge priority, and we look forward to working with our member advocates to secure this policy change. Both the House and Senate bills reject President Trump's request to eliminate the Home Program, Community Development Block Grants, and the National Housing Trust Fund and Capital Magnet Fund programs. Right now, all federal programs are operating under a continuing resolution, which keeps programs funded at FY17 levels until December 8th. HUD tells us that the current CR will not negatively impact its housing programs. We do think, however, that any additional CR that spills into calendar year 2018 could be harmful to the program's continued funding and operations. We are working with other groups to raise the federal spending caps so the funding bills can be enacted. Indeed, the only reason the Senate HUD funding bill is better than the House's is because of the difference between the limits the House and Senate chose to place on their spending bills. The Senate allowed greater spending than what is authorized by law, and the House required less. No Democrats voting for the House-passed HUD bill indicates that such low spending levels cannot produce a HUD funding bill that could ever pass the Senate. The caps must be lifted in order to avoid a government shutdown and enact the spending bills. We expect this to happen, perhaps by the December 8th deadline, but maybe very early in calendar year 2018. As you can see in this chart, if no changes are made to the caps, spending for non-defense programs in FY18 will be at its lowest level ever. Such caps can't produce passable bills, and we are working to raise them. The latest data tell us that we must raise the caps. The need for affordable housing among older adults is sharply on the rise. HUD released its worst-case housing needs report in August. The report looks at the number of very low-income U.S. renter households who pay more than half of their incomes for rent. As this chart shows, between 2013 and 2015, the number of worst-case households in the U.S. increased from 7.7 million to 8.3 million. Of the 582,000 increase in worst-case housing needs households between 2013 and 2015, 66% were older adult households. We know that very poor senior households spending more than half of their incomes for rent spend much less than their non-housing cost burden peers on health care, food, and transportation. I think we can also draw a direct line between the spike in older adult worst-case needs and the graying of America's homeless. As advocates, we must continue to raise our voices to protect and expand affordable housing. At LeadingAge, we are proud we can do so with our member advocates. Thank you for watching today's QuickCast. For more information, please visit savehud202.org and the LeadingAge website. If you have any questions or need more information, please don't hesitate to email me at lcouch@leadingage.org. Thank you.